There's a certain kind of mistake that doesn't just backfire, it detonates. The kind where someone is so convinced they're right, so used to getting their way, that they don't stop to think about consequences. They just act. And when reality hits, it hits hard. That's exactly what happened the day Brenda Vance decided to send a patrol team onto my farm. What she didn't know was that she picked the worst possible day to try it. I own a farm just outside a tightly controlled HOA neighborhood. 40 acres of open land, a farmhouse, a few barns, and enough distance from everyone else to enjoy actual silence. It's the kind of place where you can wake up early, step outside, and hear nothing but wind and birds. No HOA, no rules, no one telling you what color your fence needs to be. And for me, that was the whole point. Unfortunately, my property borders a neighborhood that does have an HOA, and not just any HOA. The kind run by someone who treats it like a personal authority badge. Brenda Vance. Now, like always, that's not her real name. But if you've ever dealt with someone who thinks a clipboard equals power, you know exactly the type. Our problems started small. They always do. At first, it was complaints about my farm equipment being visible from the edge of their neighborhood. Then it was the smell. Yes, this smell. Apparently, living next to a farm and being surprised it smells like a farm was somehow my fault. I ignored most of it because legally they had no ground to stand on. My property wasn't part of Whispering Pines Estates. I followed all Brazos County regulations. Everything I did was completely within my rights. That didn't stop Brenda. She started showing up uninvited, standing at the edge of my property, taking photos, writing notes, acting like she was documenting a crime scene. The first time I confronted her, she didn't even try to hide it. "We've received multiple complaints," she said. "From people who chose to live next to a farm," I replied. Her lips tightened. "You need to make adjustments." "No," I said simply. That word seemed to offend her more than anything else. Over the next few months, things escalated. Letters, emails, attempts to involve the county. Every single complaint went nowhere because there was nothing to enforce. But Brenda didn't want enforcement. She wanted control. And when she couldn't get it through official channels, she tried something else. It happened on a Thursday afternoon. I remember because it was one of the few days I wasn't alone on the property. My cousin, who happens to be a Brazos County deputy, was visiting. He had the day off and decided to stop by, catch up, and maybe enjoy some quiet time away from everything. We were inside the farmhouse, sitting at the kitchen table, talking over coffee. Normal, relaxed, until we heard it. Engines, multiple vehicles pulling up fast. I frowned and stood up, walking toward the window. 2 SUVs, black. No official markings, and 4 men getting out. Uniforms, but not standard law enforcement. More like private security. "Expecting company?" my cousin asked. "Nope," I said. We watched as they approached the front gate. Didn't knock, didn't call out. One of them went straight to the latch and tried to open it. Locked, so he stepped back and motioned to one of the others. That's when I saw the bolt cutters. I felt my jaw tighten. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered. My cousin stood up slowly. "Those aren't deputies," he said. I know. We stepped outside just in time to hear the first snap of metal. They had cut the lock, opened the gate, and were already stepping onto my property. "Hey!" I shouted, walking toward them. "What do you think you're doing?" They didn't stop, didn't even look surprised. One of them, clearly the one in charge, turned slightly and said, "We've been authorized to access this property." "By who?" I demanded. "The HOA," he replied. Of course she did." "You're trespassing," I said. "You need to leave now." He shook his head. "We're here to conduct an inspection." That's when my cousin stepped forward, calm, quiet, but with a presence that immediately changed the air. "No, you're not," he said. The man finally looked at him, really looked, and something shifted. "Who are you?" Instead of answering, my cousin reached into his jacket, pulled out his badge, and held it up. Everything stopped. Instant silence, the kind that hits so fast it almost feels loud. The man's expression went from confident to confused to very, very concerned. "You broke a lock," my cousin said evenly, "entered private property without permission. And you're claiming authorization from a homeowners association." No one answered because there wasn't a good answer. "There is no legal authority here," he continued. "What you've done is criminal trespass, potentially more." One of the others shifted uncomfortably, we were told. He started. "I don't care what you were told," my cousin cut in. "I care about what you did." I pulled out my phone. "Sheriff's office is already on speed dial," I said. That's when the panic set in. "Look, we can explain," the leader said quickly. "You can explain to them," I replied. Within 15 minutes, actual patrol units arrived. Lights, sirens, no confusion this time. The situation was clear the moment they saw the cut gate, the unauthorized entry, and my cousin standing there with his badge. The 4 men were detained, questioned, and eventually taken in. But that was just the beginning. Because once the story came out, once it was clear that an HOA had hired a private patrol team to force entry onto private property, things escalated quickly. Legally, very quickly. It didn't take long to trace everything back to Brenda. She had authorized it, signed off on it, claimed the farm was a nuisance and needed to be investigated. She thought hiring a private team would make it look official. She thought no one would question it. And she definitely didn't expect a deputy to be sitting inside the house when it happened. The charges they stacked up: trespassing, destruction of property, unauthorized enforcement actions. And for Brenda, conspiracy and facilitation. The HOA itself wasn't spared either. Fines, legal scrutiny, internal backlash from residents who suddenly realized just how far things had gone. I replaced the lock on my gate the next day, stronger this time. Not because I was worried, but because I wanted a clear line, a boundary that couldn't be misunderstood. Brenda, I haven't seen her since. I heard she stepped down, or was forced out. Hard to say which, but either way, she's not in charge anymore. As for me, life went back to normal. The farm is still the same. The equipment is still visible. And yes, the farm still smells like a farm. But now, there's one important difference. No one comes onto my property without permission anymore. Not neighbors, not patrol teams, not anyone, because some lessons only stick after things go very, very wrong.